Thank you so much, Mary, and hello, I'm Zoe Cunningham. We have heard from a lot of people, both yesterday and in fact just now, saying AI is coming, everything is changing, jobs are changing, get ready for the future. And then we've also had a few talks that are like, well, yes, AI is changing, but actually, is it changing that much? Are people changing like the great Code Your Future talk yesterday? And so I've been musing on this, and I'm like, well, what is going on? Are they both true? And if they're both true, then why is that? And this is the conclusion that I came to. Like, technology is advancing, and we can plot this and measure it. We can see it in our behaviors. I could see it on the train on the way here with everyone using their phones, totally different to 20 years ago. But we need to not forget the old adage that if we don't remember history, we are doomed to repeat it. So, I think we've covered me. I've actually worked my whole tech career at Softwire. I started as a junior coder, and then I was CEO between 2012 and 2020 when I did most of my learning, and now I sit on the board still, and I get involved in outreach and also mentoring within the organization. So, to set the scene, I want to kind of get into the heart of this history repeating itself by setting the scene. I'd like everyone to remember when you were 10 years old. And when you were 10, everything was new. Everything you came across as a child was something that you, this new individual, had never seen before. And it was all incredibly exciting. I can remember the first time that I saw a rainbow, which was something I'd only seen in pictures, and how, thrilling and exciting that was. And then maybe, remember the point when you entered the workforce, maybe when you were 21, maybe a bit earlier when you were 18. And by this point, you kind of realized that times had moved on from like your parents. Everything was new, and old people just really didn't seem to get it. I don't know if anyone else had this experience, like coming into the workforce. You're like, oh my goodness, everything's changed. Why are you still doing what you've always done? And then you get a little bit older. At some point, you become a manager, or you move into kind of positions of responsibility, and you start really working with people. Like, working with people starts to become like a big part of your job. And then, certainly this is what happened to me, you start to realize that actually people haven't changed that much. And a lot of the management lessons I learned were from books that were tens of years old. I learned so much from, the very famous book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. How to Win Friends and Influence People was written in 1936, and the lessons are still relevant today. So, with that in mind, let's think about what it's like for 10-year-olds today, or perhaps more appropriate, like 21-year-olds, 30-year-olds going into their first management roles. And I could not have asked for a better preparation or better introduction to this talk than the amazing talk from Scott just now, where I've got a few headlines here. Scott obviously had a whole page of them just before me. And also, we all know the rate of tech is increasing, and that's increasing what we need to do. But also this messaging coming in. So you're in the kind of, so let's just flick onto this. You're in the kind of mindset of everything's changing, old people don't get it, all of these things aren't needed anymore. What lessons are you going to learn in that environment? Where are you going to prioritize your efforts? And how's that going to affect your learning going forward? So just to recap, teams are flat out implementing new ideas. There's fewer junior engineering roles, fewer junior managers, less time for everyone to spend developing and training people. So this is not just about the roles not being there, it's about as every level gets squeezed, there's just not the time in the system to help train other people and help people learn these subtle and complex lessons that we all learn over our human lives, right, and our human careers. There's people teaching themselves how to lead by talking to ChatGPT, which can be a good thing, right? And it can free up resource, but also these are not simple, like, one paragraph answers that we want to learn from. So I want to talk a little bit about what risks that introduces. And I think the biggest one is kind of this risk that we are going to forget. Like culture, obviously we're not individually going to forget things that we've learned, but culturally and as a kind of group of people, we are going to learn some of the leadership, people-specific, and also tech-specific lessons that we've learned over the last 20, 30 years, because young people are not going to be relearning them. And some of the most important things that I think I've learned, that I think we're in danger of losing, leading through values, prioritizing culture, thinking about remembering that everyone on your team is still a human being, and thinking about the experience of those human beings and how they thrive and how they do their best work, building relationships with other human beings. Like, you can draw all the pictures you like where we all sit there and we don't have managers and we don't talk to each other and we do everything with AI. Organizations are never going to work like that. We're always going to need to work with other human beings. And also on the tech side, actually understanding exactly what your code does rather than feeding something into a box and reading it out again. We're already seeing like an overturning of this learning. And similarly, a lot of the learnings about systems and best practices with systems, it's been so long since I heard someone use the phrase total cost of ownership. Do you remember when we were talking about, oh, well, you know, it's no good if you just roll it out super quickly? I think there's a real risk where we're going to lose this knowledge. So what should we do about this? Well, first up, I think that despite the job adverts that Scott's just talked about going out, despite people clamoring for more and essentially clamoring for us to be superhuman, the way to counter that is to double down on your human-centric leadership skills, because that is what will give you the strength and support and power to shape your role and the role of your teams within an organization. Spend time helping your junior managers learn these lessons. It is still, as Charles said right at the start of the day, right, this is still one of the most important responsibilities that you have as a leader. And then keep these concepts alive in our collective consciousness by speaking and sharing, just like we're all doing right now. So in short, just keep being the excellent humans that you all learned so well how to be already. And make sure you're useful to your junior managers so that they want to ask you the questions and not ask ChatGPT. So I love talking about this. I would welcome all and any questions. I will be in the office hours just right now, just in the next break. And this is me on LinkedIn, email. Yeah, get in touch. Thank you very much.